Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the House of Girls live show. It's been a minute, of course. We missed you. But hey, Ice and myself are back to start again on our House of Girls live show, where we come up to talk about different topics that impact our community. And so I'm going to bring Ice up as we begin the show. Hello, Ice. Thank you again. It is beautiful to have you again on the You Can Be Anything podcast / House of Girls live show. Hey, girl.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the show. It's been a minute, right? Life has been lifing us. So sometimes you need to take a step back, rebuild, so that when you come back, you have to add value, you have some value to contribute. So I'm happy to be back here. And thank you for having me.
Awesome. Great. We're going to take a few seconds hey, please, as you join us, kindly let us know where you're watching us from. Please put it in the comment section while we go ahead and share the video ourselves. So please kindly let us know where you're watching us from this beautiful Saturday. DJ Saki's Vibes, I see you, my brother. Thank you for joining. So please, we're going to go ahead and share. But as we're sharing, please kindly share as well and let us know where you're watching us from.
Okay, I'm just trying to click on share right here.
Yes, I'm trying to share as well. We got to do the share, right, guys? So we have people join us while we have these beautiful conversations. So again, I want to thank you for joining. Ice, are you sharing in the forum or should I?
You should. I have my iPad. I don't have
Your phone, okay.
WhatsApp. Yeah.
Beautiful. How are we today? How has your Saturday been? How was the week? We hope that you're all doing great and you're excited to join us. Okay, I'm gonna post that in here. Please kindly share the video as you join. Kindly pump some hearts. Um, Jesus was yeah, don't worry. You can still join on StreamYard if I want you to, okay? Okay, I think I got it. Let me share my personal page now. Then we should be good to go. Hi, how have you been? Tell the followers where have you been? How have you been while I'm doing my personal share?
Oh, I've been great. I'm blessed. I've been
Better
doing
than you
well.
deserve.
It's been a rough beginning of the year. It was a rough beginning of the year, then it became a little bit brighter, and hopefully it stays bright like the weather. So I've been great.
Awesome. Happy to hear that. And as you say, sometimes difficult things will come, but we have to stay positive. Awesome. So I'm done with the sharing. Thanks again to you all for joining. We appreciate your time. We appreciate every moment that you come to spend on here with us. And so today, if you look at the topic of this broadcast today, we want to talk about networking, right? We want to have a little chat about networking. We want to, what is networking in the first place? How do you network? Why do you even network? So we want to have that kind of conversation. And while we are having this conversation, please do not hesitate. If you have any questions or thoughts, leave your questions and thoughts in the comments section. We are going to be interacting with you, and in the coming episodes we are going to make it possible that you can be able to call us. So you can call a phone number and talk to us on a phone. So we're going to have a phone line in the coming episodes so we can interact, and you call in from wherever you are. You can call on WhatsApp from wherever you are and share your thoughts about the topics we'll be talking about. And if you ever think of a topic that you'll love for these two beautiful women to cover for you, do not hesitate to share it with us. We try our best to come up with topics that are thoughtful, topics that are impactful in our society, but we are also open to suggestions. So, yes, let's talk about networking. Today's topic is networking. Ice, before I throw it out to you, like I love to do, let me start by giving my own little understanding of what networking is, and I'll throw it out to you, right? In the simplest way possible, in the most local terms, networking is that ability to exchange information and ideas and even resources with other people, right? It's being able to meet people, exchange your ideas, exchange your resources, exchange information. That is the most basic way I can define networking. Ice, according to you, what would you say networking is, or how do you understand networking?
Yeah, that was a great definition of networking. I also think I look at networking as first my social capital, and with my social capital, I bring it into a framework that gives me benefits other parts of my life, and that is simply by connecting with people and or connecting with institutions, because you can network actually to an institution or an organization or a company. So I look at it from that standpoint. How do I build my social capital in such a way that it starts helping me to build maybe my academic capital, financial capital, mental health capital, and all of that. That for me, it is a holistic framework that filters into those other aspects of life. So it's actually creating good connections. Yeah,
Awesome. So it all boils down to the whole connections thing again,
yeah.
right? Networking is connections, creating good connections. And one of the reasons we will bring in topics like this and talk about is because we want to make it clear that these are things that we need to encourage ourselves and our peers to do more, because hey, we come from growing up, right? I say it's always been that conception that hey, man, no man, right? You have to do, if you know somebody in Cameroon, let's use a Cameroon example, that the fact that you know someone, it paves the way for you to get to certain spaces in Cameroon, right? And come to think of it, that's not only a Cameroonian thing, it is a world thing. And that is why it is not only important to create those connections, because it doesn't have to be a relative. It could be someone you meet at an event and you say, hey, this is what I do. And as time goes on, it happens that you go out there and you're looking for something, and this person can recommend you, right? So you create network, you create those connections, anticipating or with the goal of, hey, it might not be helpful to you today, but in the long run, you will see that those things will come into play, right? So it's about building and maintaining those relationships with people who can offer you support, they can offer you advice, they can offer you opportunity, and they can also offer you collaboration. So when we're talking about networking, we are not only talking to the people in the profession, in the corporate world, right? It is important even to the person out there that is doing a business. It's important even to the person out there that is in the entertainment industry. You get it? Because of all the collaborations and all of that stuff. So, Ice, is there anything you love to add before we go into the importance of networking?
Yeah, it's if we want to boil down to the Cameroonian space or the
Mm-hmm.
African space, and we'll talk about networking. I think as you were talking, I was just thinking about something.
Mm-hmm.
How do we build platforms in which people can come into a network? And one thing that I have noticed, or a resource that I did not have, is a platform within the people that amongst the people that I'm comfortable with, to go in and build a like network and actually talk. Yes, people will say you meet people at different events; those are opportunities to network. But then we still don't have an idea of what these people are doing, because if you go into different network events or that you find on social media and it's not specific to a particular specialty, it's a waste of time for me. So I want to start from the platform of how do we start by building these different platforms amongst our community. I know when we come out here to talk, the first reach we're trying to get to is our community. And our community is the African community, the immigrant community, the Cameroonians are back home, and all of that. How do we create different networking events so that we can have people walk into these events and actually take advantage now of the opportunities or the benefits of networking? That is something to think about.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you because going into a network event, you want to go with a purpose, right? I will go to events that I have interest in. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the strategies. And when we talk about the strategies of networking, we'll see we can hammer a little bit more on that whole topic of identifying the kinds of events that we are going to, and also us even organizing those events that we think that are relevant for our community if we want to look at it in the perspective of the different communities that we can approach in this life. Right. So let's go into the different types of networking. Chatting with you earlier on, we looked at three different, again, the main, those are not the only ones, but these are the ones that we can talk about today. And we're looking at social networking, we are looking at the professional networking, and we're looking at maybe online networking. Yeah. You want to pick any of those and dwell on a little bit, please?
I want to talk about social networking first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and with social networking, it's something that, first of all, it deals a lot with it's an art. Networking is an art, meaning that you have to train yourself on how to network. Because our introvert people will be like, I don't know how to network. We go out on social events and we tie ourselves just to the people that we know, right? How many people, I'm not saying go out there to create friends, but then there are people that you've heard about. There are people that people talk about them, what they do in the community, what they do in society, what they do professionally, that we meet them at social events and we don't take opportunities or advantage of that. So when you meet in a social setting, especially in person, it is not by going to create a friendship, it's just going to say, hey, I see you. I heard about maybe a work or community work that you did in your community. I love that. I just want to say that was something you did. You did well. Job
Yeah.
well done, right? So we can start from that appreciative standpoint. Just thank people, recognize them for what they are doing. That is how you build your network because that person will be like, hey, who was that person that actually reached out to
No.
me and you're in a party, you're in an event, at some point they're going to question like, do you know that girl, do you know that guy? That is how that's another way to network in social settings that we hardly think about because we have the mindset of who do you think you are, right? I cannot walk up to you and but no, if you know exactly what you want from a particular person, there are people in the DMV area, right, that I've seen and I've just be like, oh my God, I read about this thing you did. Great job. Finish. That is it. So the next time I'm reaching out to them, they already have a face to the name. So it's
Mm.
easier for them to be receptive to me because I give them a compliment. Complimenting people, even just what they wear sometimes, is a way of networking. Hi, you look beautiful and make it feel intentional. Don't just say, oh, you're cute and walk past. No, you look beautiful. Oh, you look so dap, like dope and whatever the words they're using today. Use those terminologies, but make it feel intentional so that the people can actually feel special in that time.
Yeah.
So, yep,
Awesome. I knew you were going to pick the social networking because,
I'm a social girl.
yes, that's beautiful. Thank you for explaining that. And hey, if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the section. I see all my people. Kobe Bryant, I see you, bro. I see you, the Roy Mama Show. Hey, girl, hope you feel better today. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you all for your time. Keep sharing the video. So, Ice has spoken about social networking. Let me deviate a little bit. Let me not deviate completely, but let me talk about our professional networking, right? When it comes to professional networking, I talk about it. I've spoken about it a ton of times. So if you listen to me frequently, you're probably hearing this as a repeat, but I'm going to keep saying it until it sticks. I keep saying that it is important in this life to find the people who are where you want to be and mingle with them. Go into those spaces and mingle with those people. Look at people who have what you want and network with them. Talk to them, appreciate, just as I said, whether it is social or it is professional, it is important that you bring in some level of appreciation. Give them their kudos. Okay. For me, you guys know I love to talk with stories and examples. I always talk about my experience when I transitioned into tech. I will never forget the day I left Hollister, San Francisco, Hollister, California, and I drove to San Francisco, California. I went to the Salesforce Tower. If you don't know the Salesforce Tower, when you get out of here, Google that building. It is one of the most magnificent buildings in San Francisco, the Salesforce Tower. I went to that building. I saw this event that they were hosting. I registered for the event. It was free for newbies in the Salesforce, so I did not have to pay for it. I went through my trailhead. I registered for that event. I got to that tower, man. See, just the feeling. I looked at the people that are in that space. The first thing I did was I switched onto my LinkedIn. I'm looking at people's name tags as I'm walking around, and I'm checking them out on LinkedIn. I see what they do because you cannot go talking to everybody, right? So I'm looking when I have a chance to sit up or just put the names and I'm looking up and looking them up. These are people that are in the Salesforce space, and that is where I so much wanted to be, right? To those, I look at their countenance, I look at whether they are available. Sometimes when you look at people, when you're in this professional event, you look at people, you can tell, you have to be smart. You can tell the kind of person that that will respond to you, that wants to talk. There are some people that will wear the aura of, I'm sorry, I don't want to chat. That is normal. There are people like that. Leave them alone. It is a big event. Find the ones that you can see that you look at them, you get eye contact, and they even smile a bit. So try to do all those things. It can help you find who you can talk to. I did that a lot. And that is how I found myself talking to people who had the Salesforce jobs that I was dreaming for. I created connections at that event. It is a huge event. And when I left that event, my LinkedIn was never the same again. I sought advice. People offered to mentor me and all of those things because I had created for myself an opportunity. I created an opportunity to talk to these people about what I am doing, what my vision is, and where I was coming from. So, yes, in professional settings, you can also take advantage of that. Just walk up to people, talk to them, look them up on LinkedIn. If you find anything that is eye-catching, use it as an example to start a chat. How do you call those again, eyes? When you make one people to icebreakers.
Icebreakers.
Yes, use things like that, and I bet you that start from somewhere, you'll get it. So to me, that is about the professional networking. Ice, do you want to again? I link professional and online, which again you talked about the social, right? But do you want to talk a little bit about the social, like the social media networking kind of thing?
Um, Social media networking, I don't have a lot of the only, which is not the only social media platform that I use for networking, for professional networking. I used to think it was just LinkedIn, but I've come to realize that there are other things, especially with the other aspect of my life that I do, my side gig photography. I need to create more exposure in that space. So it depends on your craft, right? For my day to day, my 9 to 5, I'm more focused on LinkedIn. But when it comes to my photography gig, I think I need more exposure and more connections on the social platform, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So it depends on your craft. You choose that social media platform based on your craft. There are just some that are more popular on these different platforms. So you just need to know how to strategize and use them effectively. But take advantage of every social platform. I was looking up a professor at the University of in Bamenda, trying to connect with one of those professors. I went to LinkedIn. I couldn't send him a message because I'm not premium. Then I went on Facebook and I sent him a message via Facebook. He has not responded, which is the downside of the social media of Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
People don't take you serious in some way when you try to connect with them professionally on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, right? They're
Yeah.
like, maybe these are just some of those fraudsters. So,
Mm-hmm.
which is a myth because I really want to connect with him for some work, for some collaboration, but I can't get to him except I pay $90 a month, which is something that I could look into as well.
But as well, what if you connect with him? If you send him a connect request on LinkedIn and he accepts, then you can send him a message as well, right?
He hasn't accepted, so.
Yes. Okay. Let's
So,
let
but
that
to emphasize on the fact that you can take advantage of all
go.
platforms,
Hmm.
but some are more prominent depending on the craft that you're into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So we've talked about these different types of networking, how we can do the social, the professional, and all of that. What about, again, a lot of people don't even know how to talk. When you were talking earlier on, you made mention of introverts, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are challenges. A lot of people who are challenged with the whole networking craft. So I want us
Mm-hmm.
to chat a little bit about how we can overcome the challenges of networking. Right. Any thoughts on that? If not, I can go ahead. And one of the biggest things about networking is people are so scared of rejection. Ice, please interject.
Oh, rejection is normal. That is, if you're scared of rejection, you never achieve anything. It's fact. People are gonna reject you in all spheres of your life. Even at some point, you feel rejected by whatever God you serve, right? So it's first of all, you need to build a mindset that rejection is part of learning. It's a process. And when you don't feel rejected, or when you don't get rejected or feel rejected, the amount of determination is not as the force you put into that project is always reduced. But when you feel when you get rejected, you feel more determined. You're like, I'm going to get this done. Anyways, it also depends on your personality. I'm the kind of person who tell me no, I'll look for a way to make myself seen. There is always a door open or a crack on the wall for me. So I look at it from that standpoint. So don't feel like if you're rejected or you get rejected or you're snubbed at, it's not about you. Sometimes it's about the people that you're getting involved with. Solange, I'm not sure if you can hear me or you
Yes, I
just
can hear
disappeared
you.
intentionally.
I can hear
Okay.
you. No, just keep talking. I can hear
Okay,
you.
perfect. So most of the time, it's not about it's not about you. And I'm currently reading a book, Cease, Don't Settle, which there was a little story about the lady that wrote the book, Faith Jenkins, where she said in high school she made a request to one of her classmates to come with her for prom, and this guy said no. Then about 15 years later on, sorry, she met the guy, and they had the conversation, and she asked the guy, why did you say no? And the guy said, I didn't just have a suit to put on for that event. So it was not about her. The entire time, for about 12 years, she's been feeling rejected, right? Meanwhile, it was not about her. The guy did not just have a suit to wear to the event. So it's never about you most of the time, 100% of the time. It's never about you. So when you get into these spaces, now I've just drifted into something else. If you get into these spaces, first thing you need to prepare. You need to prepare, you need to have conversational status. Knowing the kind of event you're getting into, have conversational status. If you feel very nervous going there by yourself, get a friend, but get a plan. When you go with a friend, you don't just stick together. Once you get into the event, at least that friend is going to give you some sense of confidence. You can approach the first 2 or 3 people together, then you split up and start connecting on your own. And looking for the people that smile, the people that give you eye contact. There are certain clues that you need to take or consider in
Yeah.
order to
Towards
make the
somebody.
first move or walk towards somebody. But don't just hang around the bar and drink. That
Yeah.
is not what you should do. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Ice. That's beautifully said. And that was the fear of rejection. So, talk a little bit about that feeling like an outsider, right? You touched on that a little bit, but that is also um, something that, as we talk about networking, we want to encourage people. Sometimes you go somewhere and you feel like, hey, do I even belong here? Right? One of the race for us, for the people that are out of the world, or you're out of Cameroon. Cameroon is a place where you get into, you see everybody looks like you, and you're like, hey, this is my comfortable place. Or maybe somewhere anywhere in Africa when you see, but there is that intimidation that is innate for some people when they walk into a space and they look around and everyone else looks different. So that also intimidates some people. It makes some people feel like, hey, I don't belong here. Oh, I am an outsider. Oh, I cannot talk here. So you get it. So you
Oh
have to
yeah.
be. So I think this ties back to the fact that do your research, know the kind of event you're getting into, get some background information. And if you feel like, hey, this might not be the ideal place for you, take a friend. All
Yeah.
right, take a
Yeah.
friend, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
important.
To add to that, I felt there's so many times I felt like I didn't belong in Cameroon, even though it's my country of birth, right? And also, it depends on there are certain factors, societal factors that will affect you, religion, classism, language, and all of that,
Oh yeah.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
in these different spaces, sometimes I felt like I did not belong,
Mm-hmm.
and and language for me, spending most of my adulthood after graduation in Yaoundé, not being able to speak French very fluently was something that affected my confidence for a long time. Then I just started speaking trash. I don't care. That's not my first language, right? So for me, we will always have this imposter syndrome. Even when I got my first job, I felt
Yeah.
the same. Even the CEO would tell you that, hey, this is how I felt when I got that email that you're now the chief executive officer, right? That is something that comes with every big thing you've been working to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
But what helps you kill the imposter syndrome is when you are ready. When you are ready and you get into these spaces and you know what you're talking about, you understand the concept, you understand the content, and you can express yourself with that knowledge. That is all that matters. People are going to filter out the nervousness and take the knowledge and run with it. So please don't. Imposter syndrome is normal for everyone.
Everybody.
Everyone who is ambitious
Mm-hmm.
is going to feel that at some point. Yes.
Awesome. That's beautiful. And knowing where to start was the last challenge I wanted us to talk about. Some people don't just know where to start. And knowing where to start now boils back down to the whole, my one of my favorite topics, um, elevator pitches, right? Having an elevator pitch, practicing your elevator pitch. It is important. This is something that I talk about it a lot. Why? Because I remember I went for this was even for an interview. Again, most of the times we feel like elevator pitches are just for interviews, but they're not. You will use your elevator pitch for a networking event, right? Is that ability for you to be able to speak to someone, meet someone that has what you want or is where you want to be, and you are able to talk to them within 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You tell them what is important. You tell them that thing that they will go back, and when they see you again, they remember something that is memorable, that they'll say, okay, yes, I remember. Or they'll even go back and be like, hey, somebody spoke to me, and they'll start investigating. They might want to find you. So it is important to have a powerful elevator pitch. What I
Yeah.
do is I have a short one, like a 3 minutes. There is even a 1 minute version. I'll ask myself, if I were to tell somebody about myself, if I were to tell somebody that I would love to collaborate with about myself, what would I tell them in 1 minute? What would I tell them in 3 minutes? What would I tell them in 5 minutes? Right. So when we talk about one of the challenges is not knowing where to start. And one of the good places you can start with is being able, like developing an elevator pitch for yourself. I'm sorry, for some reason my camera keeps going on, but if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Developing an elevator pitch for yourself. I think that it's very important if you want to navigate that challenge. So, Ice, do you have anything to add on to that? If not, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about networking etiquettes. That's where we cover some of the do's and don'ts of networking. Please, can you take that?
So what am I taking now? The do's and
The
don'ts, or
networking etiquette, what to do when you're networking and what not to do. Most importantly, what not to do. Being mindful of people's time when they give you an opportunity to chat with them, and any other thing that you can think about.
yeah, one of the first things that I like to, let's start with the physical, right? When you're
Yep.
walking to a networking event, please be appropriate, right? Be dress appropriate, business or business casual, whatever. Just look decent, which is very important. And everything should be minimal, right? Even ladies, minimal makeup, right? Eyelashes not flying over the place. Just be minimal so that people can take you serious. There is I was just having a conversation. There's a difference between class and trash, right? So keep it classy. And also, when you get into these spaces, I'm talking about the don'ts, if I
Yeah.
understand.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, when you feel comfortable with one person, you get in, you make eye contact, you walk up to one person and you start talking. That conversation might sound really, really comfortable, right? And one of the mistakes that we do is we stay with that one person. Do not do that. Do not do that. Say thank you at some point and offer them with something. Say, don't just wait and say, hey, I'm coming into this networking event for tech companies and you have your CV. This is my resume. No. What can you do for them? First, try to give before you ask. Secondly, be ready with your contact, either a card or physical card, or there is something called Bling. There is an application called Bling, BLINQ. It is, I think you pay like $39 for a year, where it's a QR code. You just show that and they scan that for you. If not, use the QR code of your LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yes, ensure that you exchange contacts, right? Then the last thing, as you eat, get into that space early. If you want to eat quick so that when you start connecting, you're not talking with food in your mouth. That's a trick. And when you get into the space earlier, you feel comfortable. So now everybody's walking in and you can actually stand in the back and identify the people that you might want to connect with, right? So you take advantage. You have more advantage of time. Take advantage of time. And lastly, what can I think of? Don't get drunk, no matter what. Yeah, do not. No matter how good those cocktails are, limit the number of cups you go for. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks. One of the thing again, you've covered all the things that we had to talk about the networking etiquette, and thank you for that. Well, the only thing I want to hammer a little bit more on is being respectful of people's time. You said that, but I just want to emphasize the importance of being respectful of people's time when you get to an event. It is very common that you go somewhere, there is an event, you start talking with someone, as I said, and they give you a warm shoulder, right? And you tend to just stay there and talk with them. Sometimes they're just being nice and kind. That's why they are not telling you that, hey, I gotta go. But you should also be mindful. Know that the fact that they are listening to you doesn't mean that they came there for you. They too are there to network. So give yourself time yourself. You're talking to someone. If they are not the one prompting you to talk more, excuse yourself, round it up, and move on. Respecting people's time is very important. So I'm
Yeah.
happy you.
Yeah,
Um,
let me say one more thing before I forget.
mhm.
So networking is like tennis. You give every time the ball goes to each other's court, right? So don't just go there and blow somebody's mind with talking about yourself all the time. Allow people to talk. So people tend to
Listen
do
to
that a lot.
them.
Listen to them and also allow them to be able to express themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a beautiful one. Great. So let's again, we are rounding up. We have about 5 minutes to go. And we are open for questions as we tackle these last two subtopics. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts around networking, you have any tips or tricks, how networking has worked for you, please go ahead and leave it in the comment section. As I said at the beginning of the show, we're going to have a phone line in the coming shows where you can actually call us and share your thoughts about the topic. So please, whatever you're thinking about networking, any sweet or bitter stories, kindly share with us in the comment section. I'll be looking at that. Ice, you can see the comments as well, right?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So before we even go into the Q&A session of this, one thing we chatted about earlier on, you mentioned slightly about networking for introverts, right? Those people who do not know how to express themselves. And these are people, they are extreme introverts who do not even, they cannot talk. They get so nervous, they shake. Like, have you met an intense introvert before?
I
Some
have.
people are really introverted. If you were to talk to them about networking, because yes, that is something they deal with, but if you were to talk to them about networking and how they can tackle it, what would be some of the suggestions you have for them?
All the fear is in your head. Really, all the fear is in your head. It's in your own head. The next person is as nervous as you are. It's just that they have built a mechanism on how they can manage that for you to not see that physically, right? My daily job is to talk in front of people, but do you think each time, the first 1 minute, I get nervous? Based because these are, I'm not working with the same people all the time. I get different people different times. So the first, and you can look at me like, oh, she's very confident, she's very outgoing, but it's just that I have built a mechanism on how to handle that nervousness. It's not like I am not. So what I'm saying is real. What you have in your head is just in your head. Get that thought out of your head, because if you don't feel mentally ready and mentally confident and mentally prepared and mentally feel like you belong in that space, then you always feel nervous. It needs to start with you. Start taking that thought out of your head, because it is just in your head.
So, for the people who find this really daunting, can you think of other ways that they can meet or talk to other people without necessarily meeting with them face to face? Have you ever thought of anything like that?
Coffee chats online. I had a request for a coffee chat from someone I met in a networking event to chat online on LinkedIn, right? We met on LinkedIn, no video, and we talked, right? You can start from that angle. If you can start from in networking one to one, go on LinkedIn and make requests to people and network with them, build some rapport with them. And once you feel comfortable with that person, then you can, hey, can we meet? Are you in the area? Can we meet in person? Or there is this networking event happening in the area. Are you open to go with me? Right? Because you have some kind of relationship and with them, so you can now feel comfortable around them. Comfort comes with spending time together and all of that. So you can start from there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm happy you brought that whole idea of going on LinkedIn, finding these people, looking at what they do, and just sending them a message, right? So you can as well go online, you find someone, you say, hey, this is so somebody that you look up to, somebody that according to you is an icon and you want to be in their space. I've sent out those kinds of messages before, and you send out a message to them and you're like, hey, I'm this person. I see what you do. This thing you're doing is of interest to me. I'm interested in getting into this line of work or business, or I'm interested in collaborating with you on this maybe specific product or project. And when you see things like that, you can send them those messages and say, hey, I looked at your profile, looked at your portfolio, and this is what I saw. And based on this, I would love to have a conversation with you. So you don't need to go in there and just asking and just start asking, but you can begin by saying, hey, this is what it is. I would love to have a conversation. And if they check you out and they are open to having a conversation as well, then they will say, hey, this is it. And now you can go from there now. And maybe as if they are not even located locally, you can still just talk on chat on LinkedIn, or maybe get on a Google Meet call or on a Zoom call or something and really just have conversations. That is how you find mentors. And that is, again, most of the time, your mentors will come from the people you network with, right? And you can continue to work with them. So yes, that was our topic for today. I do not see that anybody posted a question. Um, if you do, go ahead and post. ICE is 41. We'll round up at 45. Is there anything else you want to add on our topic for today?
Um,
Say
prompt me.
something.
I'm not
I
sure.
actually want you to go local, right? Speak to the eyes. Speak to you in Cameroon. Speak to the eyes that graduated from the University of Boya and went into Yaoundé to hustle. Speak to that
Mm.
eyes about networking. What would be of value to that eyes at that time in that space?
Oh, I'm not sure. The ice is to myself. Did I ever tell you the story where after graduation in Boya, there was an MTN office right next to the university entrance, and
Yeah, the one
opposite that MTN
yeah,
office,
opposite Bose
I
Jean
was I was working at the photo
photo
lab
shoot.
there.
Mhm.
One afternoon during my break, I walked into the MTN office and I told the receptionist that I wanted to see the HR. And they
I'm
asked
laughing
me
at
why. I
wait,
said, I'm
I
looking
don't
for
even
a
know what
job,
you're talking about, and
right?
I'm already
So
laughing.
if you think that something is going to come to you, I want to tell you, like, you need to knock on those doors. And when the receptionist asked me, do you have
Your
an
resume.
appointment? I'm like, no, I just want to talk to the HR. So I was it was not like I stayed home for like a year after graduation. No, I was just hungry, right? So what I'm going to tell everyone in Cameroon that is at that point or stage in their life where they're looking for the next thing to do, I'll say knock on doors,
Yeah.
right? No
Give it a
door
shot.
is going to open if you are not knocking on them.
Mhm.
Guess what? So many people are going to say no to you. So many people are going to look at you like you're crazy. But the crazy people get things done. So do not feel like, let the no's become your learning journey, part of your learning journey when people say no. So if you want, I'm a radical being when it comes to me trying to get what I want. I'm radical in that. So because I know I don't have any opportunities, I don't come from a family that has a name that is going to open doors for me. So I need to open my own doors. The family has given me the tools that I need, and all I need is to go out there and take action. So that's what I'll tell you. Just go take action because I come from a no-name family. My father was not even ready to give somebody a dime to open a door for me. So I knew from the onset that I had to work as hard as I could to create my own doors or build my own tables on tables that they told me that I didn't have a place in. So
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And I wanted you to speed that out because I know you have quite an experience for yourself too after graduation. So there's a lot of ICES in Cameroon now who have graduated and they're trying to find their way around. So I hope they find value in what you just shared. Yes, this has been amazing. Thank you again that we have brought this back to life again. For some reason, my camera has been messing, but I'm happy my audio has been good. Hope you all could hear me well. I don't see any questions, but hey, if you come across this video, you watch it and you have a thought, please do not hesitate to leave a comment. This is streaming both on YouTube and on Facebook. So hey, leave a comment in both platforms. We'll definitely get back to you. And as I said earlier on, also, we're open to topics of discussion. If there is something you'd love us to talk about, please kindly let us know. Either reach out to Ice the Ooze, or with her Facebook page, or Studio with Ice, whichever one you're familiar with. Reach out to her, or you reach out to me either on Solange Chair or on the You Can Be Anything podcast. We appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. And hey, this is a date. We will see you again next week. Ice.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here, and hopefully we'll keep this consistent. And have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.
Awesome. I just saw your question, Menjo Thomas. And Ice, maybe you can take this. How can one network with public figures who have an intense security around them? That is a typical one. They have intense security, but want to network with them. I don't know.
Do you want a radical response to that? Or
Do you want to?
The people who are open to give don't
Yeah.
build walls around them. So those people are not even the people that you should be going towards. You should be worrying about getting their access. Yes, they have the keys to the resources that you need, but why not do something to attract those people to come to you? What are the different ways in which, or the different things that you can do to attract those people to come to you instead, given that they've built a lot of walls around them? So.
You got the power, you